Are you a fan of freedom, democracy, and love? Well, that's great because today we're playing as a nation that upholds all of those. No, I'm just kidding. We're playing as Kabul, and we're gonna be restoring Afghanistan, the ultimate opium cartel empire. But not only that, we're also gonna be using opium to addict the rest of the world and make the big bucks with our control over all of the opium in the Middle East. That's right, boys. It's time for the Durrani Empire, the greatest empire that has never been. Well, technologically speaking, we are very backwards. We don't even have schools, much like modern Afghanistan. I think the main one is going to be mandatory service, though, because we really want to go for line infantry as soon as we can, just so we can actually keep up with our neighbors, and because we're likely going to be invaded by the Russians and the British at some point. Speaking of, we're going to be improving relations with them, just so it's a little bit harder for them to invade us if they've got good relations with us, right? Apparently, Russia starts with cordial, so we might even be able to make use of the Russians in the future. We also need to do mandatory service so we can start the Afghan reunification, where we can side with the British or with the Russians, and in return we have an easier time unifying our lands. Now, our lands consist of a furniture manufactory, so we're clearly advanced. 95 manor houses is kind of impressive, not gonna lie. We actually have quite a few wheat farms, just 3 opium plantations, so we really have to change that, of course. And hey, we even have 1 government administration, so we're technically a modern nation, aren't we? No, we're not. No. If we take a good look at our policies here, we're as far away from modern as possible. Serfdom, traditionalism, hereditary bureaucracy, peasant levies, debt slavery. It's bad. It's really bad. I am going to be suppressing the pro-slavery movement. We really don't want these guys to get much pull in the government. And let's see what we can actually do here. We can get the clergy and the armed forces, which in turn means we can try and go for local police force or for professional arm. We don't have many options, do we? We really don't. And the reason for that is also because we don't have any of the technologies from society that allow us to pass better legislation. I actually could put the rule of folk in government, but that's a contested government. However, it will let me go towards homesteading. It will bring a revolution about, though. Guaranteed a revolution. We could try maybe tenant farmers or even racial segregation. The thing with the Afghanistani areas is that we do have a lot of different cultures here. It's not a homogenous sort of area. It's divided between the Pashtuns, which are the people we technically call Afghanis. They're the majority in Afghanistan, the Pashtuns, but there's Tajikis, there's Uzbeks, there's Persians, Baluchis, there's a lot of different Punjabis, there's a lot of different people living in Afghanistan, even in modern times. So I feel like trying at least to go for racial segregation is not the worst thing, since it will allow us to accept more of these pops compared to national supremacy, which only allows us to accept our primary culture, the Pashtuns and the Tajik. That's it. We do, as you expect, to have a lot of shortages, but we're gonna fix our shortages soon. We're gonna start by queuing up some logging camps. We do have a lot of population, so population is not gonna be an issue for us. 3 logging camps max them out in Kabulistan should be fine for now. And I'm also gonna do a tooling workshop right after, because we want to modernize our nation too, right? One more thing, speaking of modernizing, is that we want to do social mobility in all of our starting states, and we're gonna do road maintenance in our capital. Keep the rest of the excess authority just so we have the enactment time reduction. So I'm gonna cancel pro-slavery movement suppressing temporarily. We're gonna bring it back after we finish passing racial segregation. Because remember, if you have 100% excess authority, you get 25% enactment time reduction, which does help quite a bit. Kabulistan's army will be led by the great general. Okay, none of them are great. They're all slavers. How do I get all slavers, bro? This guy's not a slaver, but he's massively not liked. So we're gonna go for this man. Clearly, he's the better option here. We're gonna go on very low taxes because we're just nice like that in Afghanistan, clearly. This is the most depressing upper class I've seen in any of the countries I played. Less than 0.001% of the population is in the upper class. That says a lot. It also said some imports for whatever we can get. Take note, we only have our starting interest here. We don't have access to the sea, so we cannot really trade with anyone else outside of our neighbors, which is why we need to just expand as soon as possible. We cannot even wait for our technology here to finish for mandatory service. It is vital. If you don't expand in the first few months, literally starting from the 1st of January. What's going to happen is the Russians and the British are going to start guaranteeing nations around you, and it's going to be significantly more difficult afterwards to actually expand. We also conscripted 19 more peasants to help us out, and I'm going to be setting my army to defend when attacking Herat, which is the first target, seeing as a lot of the times Persia has this beef with Herat and they tend to attack Herat first themselves. I'd rather get Herat before the Persians do. And we do have way more units than they do, so it should be fairly easy to wipe them out. They are also on defending right now. We're going to wait until we get all of our conscripts recruited before we start pushing into Herat itself. And we're going to go on very high military wages so we get the extra morale recovery for our units. Another thing I want to do is improve relations with the Persians, because as soon as I take Herat, they're going to be really upset with me. So I want to make sure they don't have the ability to attack me or reconsider attacking me in any case. All right, we have enough advantage. Let's go ahead and advance front into Herat. And we started winning. Okay, it's Jova for Herat. We got the higher ground. Well, technically, this entire area is a mountainous area. So we really do have the higher ground, right? I've also queued up a textile mill because we need to have a little bit of the basic goods. And the great part about Afghanistan is, in my opinion, also a very underrated bit, that you have silk, vineyard, dye plantation, lead, iron, coal. This place has everything, man. Like, quite literally, you can do a playing toll campaign as Afghanistan because you have all the resources. You don't need to trade with anyone realistically. We do have a very starving population, so that's not good. I am going to go for corn laws, maybe. We do have a very much so starving population grain-wise, so we can go for the corn laws, which means we'll get a market liberal eventually. And I think we also just managed to conquer all of Herat, meaning we look like, I don't know what shape that is. What shape do you think? Is that like a Croatia? It kind of gives me Croatia vibes, and Kandahar would be Bosnia, right? Ugh, this is disgusting. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 provinces, but they have like a fraction of the province. It is Kandahar should not exist. Like, there's literally no reason why they should exist, in my opinion. We're gonna go for the full annexation. Let's go ahead and put our units by the border with them, and let's also merge the other army with the main army, of course. Same tactics as before. We're gonna be defending first, and then we're gonna start pushing into them once we have our manpower fully recovered. We're also going to be switching to filing cabinets now that we have a bureaucracy issue. We're going to import some paper from the sick. And we also have a character appear in Kabul. That is our beloved market liberal, Kamran Javed. Now, the problem with Javed is that he is supporting the liberal movement, which in turn is not yet pressuring the landowners. In order to make him the leader of our political party, we need to make sure the liberal movement, which he's supporting, pressures the landowners. Only way you can make that happen is by bolstering them. It is 100% RNG, the chance of this particular movement starting to pressure the landowners. It might pressure another interest group. Who's to say? Nobody really knows. All right, boys, to war. Our tactics have paid off. We let them push into our lands a little bit here in Herat, and in return, they completely drained their manpower pool. So now, it's time for us to push, and we went from minus 20 advantage to plus 37 as consequence, because they made the mistake of actually pushing first. Look at that. We are making gains, as they say in Afghanistan. It's over, Kandahar. I got the higher ground. This time, I actually do, because if you look at the mountain range, we genuinely are in the northern part, which is the more mountainous part, compared to the south, which is more hilly part and desert, right? And there you have it. We have now a square. We're the famous Afghani square, guys. That's actually fun. Wait, what? No! Kandahar still has a province. Oh, that's because it's in the Bombay interest. It's not in the Persian interest, so I could not conquer that. I didn't even realize. So they had 7 provinces, like a part of 7 different... That is crazy, Kandahar. Crazy, I tell you. All right, our next target is the great nation of Kabulistan. Just realized we're starting to go into the stans, aren't we? Wait, no! We are a stan! Afghanistan! Holy God. This whole time I thought I was not a stan, but technically I was. And we're also actually looking like Afghanistan now that I think about it. They do have that little corridor into the Kashmir, don't they, in modern times? Now, that being said, we also can petition the British for aid, which would piss off the Russians. And we also got racial segregation. Americans can rejoice now. Ludi, what do you mean by that? What are you trying to say, Ludi? Look at that. The liberal movement is also pressuring now 4 different interest groups groups. Come on, boys. We can do this. We can pressure the landowners. We got this. We can just pretend we're a lobby in the US. Now, speaking of lobbies, it's time to form the Afghanistan lobby. Formatio Scribidatio. There is more land to conquer, or we be peaceful. No, we're not going to be peaceful here, even though this is 20 years plus 50 prestige. The land to conquer is what I'm all about. We got claims on everything around here, which is just delicious. And we also got a map color change to Afghanistan. Now, we do have issues with our bureaucracy. I'm talking massive issues with our bureaucracy. These are caused by the extra trade routes which we inherited when we annexed some of these nations. So we need to cancel those up, get our trade paper back from SIC, and we should be fine again. Plus, with the new claims, it's going to be a lot easier to expand before the British and the Russians consolidate their holds in this area. Another thing to take note of is that we don't actually have many incorporated states. And remember that if you do not incorporate your states, you do not tax these states, and they don't get affected by your institutions. So we really need to start incorporating things around us if we want to get some actual taxes. Seeing as we now have the ability to get a secondary declared interest, I went for Central Asia because, let's face it, there is a lot of land to be conquered here. We have a lot of claims as well in this area. Plus, we want to grab this before the Russians integrate Kishis and Ortajus, and then they make their way towards our border. Oh, Kala just backed down, and they just flat out let the Persians take Bampur from them without even fighting for it. That is actually really bad for me. All right, now that they've drained their units attacking us, classic Victoria 3 AI, we can now push as if we were a butter through knife. Also, who names their country Cock and what? That's the question here. There ya go, boys. Oh, look how ugly we are now. Oh my god, we need to take Bukhara just so we look pretty again. Also forgot to give my army a proper name. Freedom Fighters, right guys? Totally Freedom Fighters, right? Yeah? Now these freedom fighters are gonna have to get disbanded. The ones that cannot get enough recruits will get disbanded. Oh my god, the liberal movement is literally pressuring every interest group except the landowners. Also, seeing as we have now provinces in Central Asia, we can use our one declared interest for the Bombay area in the hopes that we can still take what's left of Kalat, since, you know, the Persians were in full-on aggressive expansion mode here. I'm sorry, what? I just, like, as a meme, clicked on tenant farmers because I was like bored of waiting for my market liberal to come to power, and we actually managed to get the consideration phase with 5. This is so not passed. This is 100% not. This is gonna fail. This is definitely going. Oh no! I forgot to add transfer Macron. Whatever. We'll get him in the next war. What? No shot. No shot. Dude, did you see that? I'm not gonna even edit that bit. Did you see that? Did you? I'm not crazy, right? This freaking thing passed at 5% consideration, then another 5%. No fucking shot, bro. No shot. No way. No freaking way, dude. No way. Not possible. What the fuck is happening here? Guys, I swear. I swear it's a legit run. Look, it's achievements available means I'm not using consoles, nothing. It's the right checksum, no mods. What is this RNG, brother? Why doesn't this happen when I'm playing as Persia, when I'm playing as Prussia, when I'm playing as Portugal? That's the only 3 nations I know that start with the P, but I really just wanted to say Prussia, and I had a little bit of a slip of the tongue, to be fair. Okay, this actually got me a little bit excited, not gonna lie. This is a fun run. Woo, baby, I cannot believe we got that. I genuinely cannot believe we got that. I'm still trying to process what the hell is happening here. Would that work if we go for slave banning? They're still not pressuring the landowners. Come on, man. Should we try with homesteading, actually? I don't want to fail it, though. If I fail it, before I get that guy as the leader, I'm going to have to wait for 5 years, and he might die in 5 years. I don't want that to happen. Fun fact, this is not about Afghanistan, because I've never been to Afghanistan, but I've been to Pakistan a few times, which, by the way, we can also form Pakistan if we get some Punjabi lands, in essence, and also Turkestan, actually, is on my thoughts to form, because we're not too far from it. We just need to grab the stands and a little bit of Ching, which is not necessarily the most difficult thing. But yeah, the fact is, I went to Pakistan a few times, and I was in this airport, and I was buying this genuine leather jacket for like dirt cheap, like 30-20 bucks. This was in 2015, and like actual leather. Obviously it's some sort of goat leather, if I'm not mistaken, or camel or something of the sort. But holy shit, forgot what I was gonna say. It was something about that happened in Pakistan that's similar to Afghanistan. What the hell was I gonna say, bro? I feel like I might have an early onset of Alzheimer's, which is pretty fucked because my granddad had it too. All right, we do have that tooling workshop, so let's switch to sawmills now, which is going to encourage our tooling workshop to actually start producing stuff. Going to subsidize it too to help out with that. And it's time to get our very first iron mine queued up also in Kabulistan. You know what? It was also really important what I wanted to say. It was really vital to the plot of this entire thing. What the hell was I going to say? We're also going to need some arms industries in order to actually upgrade our units to line infantry. I don't have a truce with Macron? That actually is new to me. Do you not get a truce if they get liberated as a subject? Interesting. Is it because they're a tributary or something? I'm not sure, actually. Honestly, very worried that the British are going to join on the side of Macron, so I really, really hope they don't. If they do, I have to reload the save. That's literally GG's for this entire run. We're good, we're good. It's kind of vital that we get Macron, though, because we want to have a province that likes to date older women. Get it? Macron. No, it's for the trade axis. That's the only reason I'm taking this, okay? Now we can actually trade with the rest of the world. We can start implementing Plan Opiumsky, okay? Opiumsky. Let's actually make a really, really good trade partner. Who has a lot of population and wants some opium? The British! Yay! Maybe we're gonna addict the Europeans to opium, huh? That would be the big brain right there. A monument to the king. It's gonna make our people a little bit more radical, but I think it's worth it. That 3% prestige is huge. Okay, now we're literally pressuring every group except the landowners. Look at that. That's crazy. And you know what's going to happen? He's going to die as soon as we start pressuring the landowner. I absolutely feel that. Wait, what? We're a major power? Unrecognized major power. That is crazy, brother. Actually crazy. Where am I getting that prestige from now? I got 68 prestige from country tier as kingdom, gross domestic GDP, army projection is the most important one apparently. Might not seem amazing, but I'm actually going to go for religious school simply so I get a little bit of extra education access going. And since there's literally no opposition for this, we should have an easy time passing it. We also definitely need more government administration, so I'm going to outclick that. And it's time to build a lot of opium plantations too. I'm also outclicking an extra government administration, and I feel like my infamy is low enough that I can start expanding again now. Definitely want to finish what I started with the attack on Kandahar. Oh, look at that. That actually went to consideration phase after 2 ticks. That's pretty cool. I'm not super surprised though, to be fair. I expected it to go up to second tick very fast. Now, we also need more arms industries. Okay, that's interesting. We would get the most by building it in Kandahar, so let's build our second arms industry in Kandahar in that case. There you go. Most of Baluchistan is... Actually, all of Baluchistan is ours now. Huzzah! Religious school skis. And also means we got minus 50 bureaucracy now because of this level 1 institution, so we need to get more admin buildings. Ooh, we pretty much attacked Bukhara in time because it seems like the Russians have made puppets out of the Kazakh lands, so we're likely not going to be able to expand much into the north afterwards. That also means I probably should try and get closer to the Russians, shouldn't I, if I want to survive here for a bit. And we're absolutely hemorrhaging money, which is not good. That's because of the construction sectors. I'm gonna delete one of these bad boys because otherwise I'm gonna be Kaputsky as a nation. There you go. Finish the war against Baluchistan, and let's see what the situation is in Khiva. They don't have any diplomatic relations, so we might be able to actually just wipe them out, but I'll wait for a while because apparently it's 17 just to get the main state of Kharazmia. Only 4.9 for the southern one though, and 5.5 for this. And we do want to get all 3 of them though. Wait, Kharazmia, is that from Kharazmia from the Empire? Kharaznid Empire, or whatever it was called? The one that got destroyed by the Mongols? Is that where it gets its name from? Would we be able to take this province before the Russians enforce on them though? That's the real question. I think it's worth trying at least, even if we fail. At the very least, if we get one state, we're going to be closer towards forming Turkestan, and then we can get the rest of the states from the Persians and Khiva, and we should be fine with it then. Okay, apparently I was able to take this. Actually, they're surprisingly not as pissed off as I expected them to be. They are protective towards us, which means they likely want to add us to their trade league, which is not the worst thing. Let's see now what provinces we need for Turkestan. So we need 3 more provinces, 3 more full states. That is going to be Khiva, Khorasan, and Mazandaran. Perfect. That actually is perfect. And my lobby wants me to get a defensive alliance with the Russians. Can I do that? I can. Okay, we got this in the bag, boys. We actually got this in the bag. With the Russians on our side, the world is our our oyster, right? Wait, we have a university from Merv. Ooh, we're educated, boys. We're finally educated too. And apparently, Sardaria also had an arms industry, which is perfect because I was actually lacking one arms industries, which I was building right now. Ooh. Oh, that's so cute. Russia's offering me military assistance, which it costs them 10% increase in cost for military goods, which is crazy for a country the size of Russia. That is literally a lot of money. Oh, I just realized that Kitral here is part of our Pashtunistan state, which is the main state, right? That's where most of the Pashtun population is. I'm also gonna go up to 90 infamy because I'm attacking the Persians. I'm taking Mazandran and I'm taking Khorasan, which I need to form my beloved Turkestan nation. But more importantly, I'm also taking Banpur, so I have full access to the entirety of the Baluchistan area, because everybody knows Banpur and Baluchistan is rightful Afghani clay. In fact, the whole world is rightful Afghanistani clay. Okay, I said it. I freaking said it. You happy now? This is basically a 1v1, and I'm fairly confident I can win this without issues. Also going to be importing French guns, so I have enough weapons to fight the Persians. Let's go, baby. Again, we're going to be defending first, and we're going to be pushing it afterwards, and also raise my conscripts. I haven't raised my conscripts in a while, actually. I'm even going to get more conscripts just so I have enough units to push in. All right, the Persians are not pushing, so I have to be the one that pushes. Hopefully, we manage to make a little bit of progress here. I am also going to be setting designate strategic provinces, Khorasan, Mazandran, and Banpur in that order as we progress in there. Sadly, I am on very high taxation in order to be able to stay in this war because of the amount of conscripts that we have and the amount of finances it takes out of us. We have to be on very high taxation. I also recruited an extra general that is an adamant defense general, which is perfect. I'm going to keep him to defend, and I'm going to have the other two guys advance. We seem to be making pretty good progress though. And yes, in case you're wondering, we have in fact switched over to iron frame building production method. Also go for stock exchange so we get the extra 10% market access price impact, and even romanticism so we can perhaps switch over to agrarianism. Anything is better than traditionalism. Now let's move over to Mazandran as the next strategic objective. We should be able to fairly easily win this war though. We have 88 advantage. Looks like we've completely gone through the entirety of their army because most of their army is in fact irregulars. They only have 2 line infantry. That is crazy, brother. All right, we are winning actually. Their war support is down to -48, so we basically got this in the bag now. And there you go, boys. The new and improved borders of Afghanistan. All right, now we're down to medium taxation again. I'm gonna try and go back to low taxation, but we'll wait for a little bit for our country to recover. And we also need to make incorporated states out of everything that we just took. Boom, 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 skibbity boom, and everything in the north I actually forgot to make incorporated too. Guess we're also gonna need one more government administration building, and as consequence, we're also gonna change our production methods. Plus, we're gonna need more paper mills because we only have the one in Kabulistan for now. Oh, look at that! Ottomans are getting their asses handed to them by the Russian Empire, our good allies and friends. Oh my god, we got 32 opium plantations now. Hey, landed voting. Hell yeah, everybody can vote now, except only the people that have land matter. So really just the landed people can vote, actually. Oh, that is great. Way less opposition for homesteading now. There is actually a chance we might be able to pass that. Then again, we also want to get National Guard, and there's a lot of support for that too. Cultural exclusion might also be on the table. We are starting to get support, but not too much just yet. Appointed bureaucrats is also fairly easy to get. Actually, let's go for appointed bureaucrats. We want to move away from hereditary, and this should be the fastest one to enact. Oh my god, 47% chance that they're going to give us the treaty port, and they didn't, bro. Seriously? Like, actually. Well, in that case, I'm going to take the rest of the treaty ports from you, so you have nothing on me. But I am limiting myself to the treaty ports along my coastline because I cannot actually land in Oman. I don't really have a fleet at all. Also going to make these primary demands just in case they feel like backing down against me. And I guess we can keep it on high taxation. No, we're going to keep it very high. I really like this whole run. The main idea is not to take loans, because if we do that, it's freaking over. All right, war goals should be these 3 provinces. So as soon as we get these, we won the war base. Oh, they only have 13,000 units? No way. That's so few. All right. Well, war is in the bag. We basically won this. I also did this because a lot of the times what happens is either France or the British Empire take over Oman, make them into a puppet. And if that happens, then these treaty ports are going to be treaty ports into my country. I don't want that. I want them to properly trade for my stuff and pay me for the opium that I'm giving them. There you go. Beautiful, beautiful borders. Now let's also go for dedicated police force. We basically have no tax waste now as well. We lowered our tax waste significantly now since we have appointed bureaucrats, but we still need to build some tax buildings in Mazandran, for example. Let's Clicius, Maximus, Altius. Okay, boys, time for the biggest war of our times. We're going for Qing. We managed to call in the Russians with obligations, and we're taking the 4 Uyghur provinces. We did not set war reparations as the war target, because if we did that, then we would have to take Beijing, and we don't want to do that. We want to quickly finish this war. And just because they're worried, and I don't want them to back out of this, I'm actually going to set Dzungaria and Ili and Kyrgyz as main war targets. Even though I get a little bit of extra infamy, it's worth it because we're going to be chilling after this. We're not going to be expanding anyway. We'll be absolutely fine. So this way we ensure that we have all the provinces we need to form Turkestan. Go ahead and import some more weapons in the meanwhile and increase our taxes a little bit more. Go up some extra iron mines, and we do need a ton of wheat farms. We don't have right now much wheat going on, and we're going to just have single crop plantations, meaning that all of our wheat's going to be producing just grain. There you go. We went from minus 700 to minus 450. Fortunately, we do need to import some fruits, and we're going to do that from British because they have a lot of fruits, and from the Russians because Qing, we're going to be going to war in a second here. Make sure we got the strategic objective in Dzungaria and the fringe provinces here. And why the hell am I making so much money, actually? I'm making a ton of money right now. Holy schnitzel. Sadly, we did have to cancel temporarily the trade route we had with the Qing, but hopefully after the war, we're going to restore friendly neighborhood relations, of course. Okay, the Russians are definitely pulling their weight. They actually are investing a lot in this war, even though they're getting basically nothing out of it. And the Qing do still have irregular infantry, so it should be fairly easy to push into them. Oh yeah, baby, look at that. We already got half of the main war target province. Okay, let's see what else is in massive shortage. Clothes, paper, iron. Okay, so we can do 1 paper mill in Kandahar. Boom. And we're going to do another iron mine over in Kandahar again. Why not? We'll make Kandahar an amazing province. Then some clothes manufactories is not the worst idea. It's basically just a lot of money. We can do that in Baluchistan, which in fact is famous for clothes production. Let's see how this is going. It's going pretty good. Going good for sure. Thank you very much, Russia. Now with this law enforcement institution unlocked now, we have again bureaucracy issues. However, we do have options now. We can go for frontier colonization when it comes to laws because we have finished the colonization technology. That's perfect because we want to colonize the Turkmenian parts, which begs the question, why is this uncolonized land? This makes no sense to me. Okay, we got 57 advantage. All right, buddy. This goes to show how poo-poo brain the AI is. They're basically filtering units from one front to another, which leads to them not having units on the front line itself, and that means we can advance. And there you go, we enforced on Spain, which also did not really bring any units, so I don't know what Spain was even doing in this war. Ooh, lobby opportunity to sign a trade agreement. I am 100% down for that. All right, we got most of the war goals. Once we have the entirety of Dzungaria, we should be fine, and we are fine. There you go. They're losing war support. Basically, we just have to defend the provinces we took now. Make sure we set our units to defend, and that's it. We got the provinces, boys. All right, we should be able to actually enforce our deal, wouldn't we? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they would accept. There you go. Propose the peace deal, and booyah shaka dongs. We have gotten all of the Turkmeni lands. Oh my god, this is amazing. This actually is amazing. How much would it cost me to incorporate? Not much, because these are actually provinces with very low population, sadly. Let's make sure we also change the production methods to the right production methods, and we get some more government administration buildings. Now, the cool part is that if we go over to journal, skibbity boo, skibbity bay, Turkestan, formatio, I cannot. Why can I not? I need pan-nationalism. Oh, come on. Really? Well, whatever the case, we don't need to expand for a while now, and we're gonna just take Khiva later down the line and the Persian bits. Alright guys, so it's been a little bit of a journey here, but we've actually managed to make Afghanistan in one of the greatest countries on earth. In fact, I haven't even expanded too much despite having 57 infamy right now. I've only taken a few more provinces from Persia, wiped out those Punjabi scum, and I've made a nice little border with my beautiful ally of Russia here. They did take a bit of Turkmenia, unfortunately. We couldn't colonize all of it in time, but sometimes you win some, you lose some. It is what it is. Legislation wise, we managed to modernize significantly, and with wealth voting, which we just got, we're going to be able to continue down this path and get even better legislation. Institution wise, we are not doing amazing. We're actually a little bit behind, but we're working on it, not to worry. We'll get there eventually. Now GDP, we are, I believe, 6th in the world, right behind the Russians, and we are above the Austrians, the Ottomans, catching up on a few nations. Wait a second. United Sovereign and Confederacy. We're above the Americans, guys. We're officially above the Americans because they split up into, there's a monarchy America, there's a Confederate America, and there's the Indian Territory, apparently. the sovereign America is divided in 4 separate pieces, and they have a truce with the Confederates, so that means that that's exactly what they're going to look like for the rest of the game. Now, we also just managed to get our pan-nationalism. I actually tried to rush for this. I ignored a few of these particular technologies, and I pretty much almost completely ignored production and military screens. Even with the 116 innovation, we really need to catch up a lot now, because I wanted to rush for pan-nationalism because I want to make the beautiful nation of Turkestan. You guys ready for this? This is the whole thing here, boys. This is the whole thing. Let me take a screenshot. We actually almost can form Pakistan as well. We just need to take Sindh. Unfortunately, Sindh is guaranteed by the British, so I cannot take it. So it's Jover for Pakistan, basically. All right, boys. Clicius Maximus, a glorious union. We get claims on other parts of the Turkestani areas, and look at that. That's perfection right there. Let's see how many accepted cultures we have. Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, Uzbeks, basically all the Kazakhs. Wait, Pashtuns are not accepted anymore. Oh, that's bad because Pashtuns are a primary. So Pashtuns went to 80 accept. I mean, that's not too bad though. 80 acceptance for Pashtuns. That's genuinely fine, because we also get the 20 from state religion, or 25 because most of them are Sunnis. So we're actually fine. Speaking of, the cultural map mode is disgusting, but they're all accepted. Okay, so that's what matters. We got 15 million full acceptance, 1 million secondary citizens, and the open prejudice is predominantly the Punjabis, if I'm not mistaken. We also went to about 160,000 upper class and 4 million middle class. A lot better than what we started the campaign with, that's for sure. We have fully industrialized. It was not as easy. I feel like the worst thing in this campaign was just the laws. Not gonna lie, I did reload a few times so I can pass homesteading, and I used the authority cheese to get a different outcome on some phases, because I failed it like 3rd times, and the 4th time we passed it. I got fed up, okay? RNG sucks sometimes in this campaign. But overall, you know what? I had fun. We also managed to get about 100 opium plantations, but actually a majority of our income is from trading that opium with the Qing. They did unfortunately embargo us. Oh, actually the embargo's over. Okay. Time to sell against opium. Know you guys love my opium. The best opium in town, because I've got most of the opium production in the world, rivaled only by the British Raj coming in 2nd, of course. Germany also formed in Europe, and they're pretty strong. Probably should get some relations with them, but I don't have any interest in this area. And I tried to addict the British to opium, but it didn't work, sadly. So far, the only addicted people to opium are still Qing, and I think a couple of Indian pops I managed to addict. They might have addicted themselves, actually, for that matter. This was a fun run, though. If you guys enjoyed it and you want to see more runs like these in the future, let me know. Don't forget to also subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.